The term theater of the absurd was coined by Martin Esslin in his 1962 book by that title. It refers to the work of a loosely associated group of dramatists who first emerged during after the World War II. Esslin saw these playwrights as giving artistic expression to Albert Camus' existential philosophy, as illustrated in his essay "The Might of the Sisyphus," that life is inherently meaningless. In the theater of the absurd, Esslin states the merely present in it, in being that in the terms of concrete state images. This is the difference between the approach of the philosopher and that of the poet. He goes on to say that the hallmark of this attitude is its sense the credence and unshakable basic assumption of the former ages have been swept away, that they have been tested and found wanting. They have been discredited as a cheap and somewhat childish illusion. Some common characters of the absurdist plays include the general existential philosophy coupled with the reaction and narrative continuity and writing of logic, as well as a radical devolution of language, which is seen as the vital attempt to communicate the impossible. The general effect is often the nightmare or dreamlike atmosphere in which the protagonist is overwhelmed by the chaotic and irrational nature of his environment. Most of absurdists also doggedly resist the traditional separation of farce and tragedy, intermixing the two and will, creating an unpredictable world that mirrors our own, in which is a poignantly tragic may come upon the heels of the absurdly funny, or vice versa. The theater of the absurd is often traced back of the avant-garde experiments of 1920s and 1930s. Its roots in it's actually date back much further. Absurd elements first made their appearance shortly after the rise of Greek drama, and the wild humor and buffoonery of old comedy in the plays of Aristophanes in the particular. World War II was the catalyst that finally brought the theater of the absurd drama to life. The global nature of the conflict and the resulting trauma of living under the theater nuclear annihilation put on the stark perspective the essential personalist of human life. Suddenly, one did not need to be abstract thinker in order to be able to reflect upon absurdity. The experience of absurdity became part of the average person's daily existence. The most famous and the most conventional absurdist play is probably Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot. The characters of the play are strange caricatures who have difficulty communicating the simplest of concepts to one another as they bide their time awaiting the arrival of Godot. The language they use is often ludicrous and following the clinical change having occurred. In fact, it is sometimes referred to as the play where nothing happens. Its decorators count this as a fatal flaw and often turn red in the face, fainting on the inequities. It is mere gibberish. They cry, eyes nearly building out of their head, a pang prank on the audience distinguished as a play. The play supporters, on the other hand, describe the accurate probability human condition is in which the more things change, the more they are the same. Change, they argue, is only the illusion. In 1955 meant the end of the theater as we know it. His generation may have glumly accepted this prediction, but the younger generation embraced it. They were ready for something new, something that would move beyond all stereotypes and reflect their increasingly complex understanding of existence. Whereas traditional accepted to create the photographic representation of life as we see it, the theater of the absurd aims to create a ritual-like, mythological, archetypal, allegorical vision closely related to the world of the dreams.